Welcome to the XYZ podcast. I'm Millennial Producer Tony. Joining me as always are our hosts Gen X Brian.
Hello, everybody.
And Gen Z Winston.
Yo, yo, yo.
Sorry, mid drink. As you're doing the intro, I start drinking something like that's, anyway.
Get those pipes going, yeah.
Yes.
Warm them up.
They are warmed up.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing Saturday afternoon, evening?
It's a good day. So the sun's out, the weather's nice.
I like that microphone. You got like a cool LED, like your microphone lights up. Last time we did this, it was white, but now it's got like a gradient.
Sunset.
Yeah, it's a sunset on your mic. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a Gen Z thing, we like color. There's a reason why we always have LED lights in our room at one point.
As a kid, I loved lights like in my room and everything. And my kids have LED lights. And I'm like, if I had the availability of this when I was a kid, I would have lost my mind. Like, it's fantastic. So I totally get, even though it's not really socially acceptable for adults to have LEDs in their living room, it's
depends on where you put them. If you put them behind the TV and they're coordinated, you can put them.
Yeah. You put it in the lamps, you can always get the Philip Hughes one,
Yeah, that your mic looks very cool. This is great discussion for a audio medium, huh?
Exactly. It's actually funny.
Well, let's talk that. So you've got that great for audio. You've got bar lights on the back wall.
Yep.
Other fun lights anybody had in rooms currently?
Currently, no. So this is funny. This is so disco balls, right? Disco balls were the 70s, a little bit before my time, but I've always loved disco balls because if you really go back, here's something. Winston, have you ever been roller skating at a roller rink?
No. I know people that do, but that's just not my thing, so that's why I don't ever go.
Wait, you know people that do currently?
Yeah. Like my age. Yeah. Kids my age actually do enjoy it. Yeah.
Tony, been to a roller rink?
Yes, I've been. I actually was just talking to Winston a few days ago. There's one
like
one near us that I was like, I've been wanting to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's normally where you see disco balls, and I think where my love of disco balls came. But yeah, in college, I had a buddy who's like, man, I'm moving out of my apartment. I don't need this disco ball anymore. Do you want it?
Free disco ball.
Yeah, and with motor, with the rotational motor. Yeah, with the rotational motor. So yeah, I fully put that up in my room in college, which was neat.
Wait,
so
does disco balls have a light in it, or do you have to shine a light on it?
No, you have to shine a light on it that then reflects off the mirrors on the disco ball to then create all of the spinning little light.
What do you reflect on it? Do you just get a flashlight and just shine at it, or like how does that work?
Well, no, the disco ball is the mirror, and then you have to have, in addition to the motor that you hang the disco ball from that spins it around, you then have to have a spotlight that then shoots to reflect all the light, which then spins it around the room.
So then you would have to install a light. So
yes.
So see, this is new things to me. This is not a Gen Z thing. We don't do that, obviously. So that's just so funny how back in the day, if you want cool lights in your room, you're gonna hang up this mirror ball and
Christmas lights. Christmas lights were also, I had some Christmas lights in the room. We didn't have the LEDs, but the LEDs are everywhere and I love them.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
I did have the Christmas lights. I had an exit sign.
Oh,
like an old school
cool.
light up exit sign.
Right. I had a stop sign.
I had one of the fake the traffic lights. Yeah, fake traffic lights.
Yeah, I had a fake traffic light too, but yeah, also I think a real stop sign.
Oh man, you guys had but I always thought that was like a thing in movies where like kids would have like really weird wall decoration. I never knew that was a real thing.
So let me tell you, that's funny because that brings me to one of the greatest movies ever made, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
What year was it?
Oh, geez. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
I know of the movie.
Good.
I just want you to know what year it was, because that would tell you whether or not I've seen it or not.
Well, I think we discussed this last time. It doesn't matter what year, if it's a Tarantino film, chances are you've seen it. If it's Scarface, definitely.
Yeah.
If it was the Wizard of Oz, hell no. I think that's
so 86. I should have seen it. I just never gotten around to it.
Great movie. And the fact I grew up on the Indiana side outside of Chicago, and the fact that it takes place in Chicago is also fantastic. But in that movie, you have, Ferris's room, and on the back of his room, I believe he had a British flag. I had a British flag on the back of my door. 100% Ferris Bueller inspiration, So it's kind of funny that you said from movies, because as a kid, you see things in movies, you're like, oh, that's totally cool. But so since you haven't seen it, Ferris Bueller is a movie about Ferris Bueller who takes a day off of school. He ditches school, picks up his girlfriend and his best friend, and they drive into Chicago and have the greatest day you could, ditching school in Chicago. So
right. I'll add that to my watch list.
It is honestly, I would say, in a personal top 5. I mean, not even a top 10. Tony, have you seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay.
I don't have the nostalgia for it. I didn't watch it growing up, but I understand the appeal. But I like this idea of, as we say things, Winston having a watch list and then getting back to us with his movie reviews. Now you got to watch Ferris Bueller. You got to watch Wizard of Oz.
Oh God!
You got to get back to us. But actually, we're giving you homework. That's actually what happened here.
Oh man!
If and when you get to these movies, you got to come back and let us give your movie review.
Yeah.
But I say this to you, like I say to my children, and it's like, I would not ask you to watch something unless I thought it was phenomenal. Just same with them. I'm like, I would not send you a song unless I thought it was great.
Right.
But I also, it's like, okay, Dad, whatever. It's a song. It's an old ass song. We don't want to listen to it, or they will eventually. And I don't know. But yes, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of the greatest movies ever. Okay. How did we get from he had a stoplight in his room. I was like, how did we get from talking about in room lighting to decor? But yes, there we go.
Yeah. So let me say, like, at least kids my age, we don't have a lot of like wall signs anymore. We do like poster. I notice a lot of people do poster nowadays.
Posters are eternal. Yes.
Yeah. Poster is always a classic. Right?
All right, Tony. What poster did you? Oh, fantastic!
I didn't have any, but yeah.
Oh, see.
Wait, what was the poster you had, Tony?
Oh, a poster that I had. Listen, I'm a big nerd, so this is not going to come any surprise. I had a lot of Star Wars posters.
Oh,
like I had Star Wars movie posters.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
See, those were not available. Like, I would have killed for a Star Wars movie poster as a kid. Yeah. Absolutely, just like that. That was, this is totally embarrassing, but I definitely had a Michael Jackson poster.
Was it the Thriller one?
It was not. It was I mean, only people that would know this, you could Google it, but he was wearing like a yellow sweater, and I believe he had his sequin glove on. But yeah, like, as it was not the Thriller poster, but then I had some Chicago Bears stuff. So when I was growing up was when the Chicago Bears went to the Super Bowl, and they had the Super Bowl Shuffle, which was a song that the Chicago Bears actually recorded and say it was a rap. It was horrible. It's as if you would like make a parody of a rap today. Like, I won't give you an example of what it sounded like, but if you want to know about the Super Bowl Shuffle, it's 86, I believe, is when it happened.
Okay.
And it's really bad. It was the Chicago Bears recorded a rap song when it was just called rap, not hip hop, of their plan to dominate the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay.
I wonder if that was a thing of the era, because the Steelers had a very similar. They have a song called "Here We Go," that anytime they go to the Super Bowl, they re-record with updated player roster information.
That's kind of cool, though. Yeah. So circling back to this Thriller thing, I found this out recently on TikTok. Do you guys all remember? You guys all remember the poster, right? Like the cover of the album.
I do. That was my first album. Yeah.
What was he wearing? Like, other than a white suit, what was he doing? Without looking it up, what do you think he was wearing?
Well, wasn't he wearing? Okay, so in my memory, it was like a black. It was not a white suit. It was a black satin jacket with a white shirt under it, and he's laying sideways.
Okay, what do you think, Tony?
I think it's the opposite. It's definitely a white jacket with a black shirt underneath. Again, the sideways thing is...
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Obviously, people can't see it, but we can talk about it. All right, can you see it?
No! I love the Jeff Goldblum one. So I'm dyslexic. You were right. It's a white shirt with a white suit with a black shirt.
Here's the craziest part. It's not a button-up shirt. It's a hoodie. There's totally a zipper there. Did you guys ever know that? Like I never knew that until recently.
I did not, but I can tell you with certainty when you opened up the gatefold of the album, indeed on his leg was a little cub, whatever is.
Oh, here
right?
it is.
Is that a lion?
It's a little tiger.
A tiger which matches his pocket square.
Oh, it does. Yeah, you can see. But it's more like leopard skin on the pocket square. But again, why a hoodie with a white suit?
Are we not sure if it's a weird zipper shirt?
It is a zipper shirt. We don't know that it's a hoodie. I think it is. It's definitely a weird zipper shirt. Then you have to reference the Beat It jacket, which had a ton of zippers.
Yes.
I gotta look that up. I don't remember what that looked like.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. This is full disclosure. 100% embarrassment. As a child, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. That's not the embarrassing part. The embarrassing part is that at Merry-Go-Round, which was a store in the mall that sold at the time the cool clothes, right? They sold Michael Jackson jackets.
Oh, wow.
And I begged my parents to buy me a Michael Jackson jacket. And I believe I probably was given a list of like 100 chores to do. Okay, you do this list of 100 chores and this will give you enough money to buy the said jacket. I did those chores and got myself a red. No, not like the Beat It video. I wanted to be different. I got the white Michael Jackson jacket with all the zippers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this is so embarrassing. This is totally embarrassing. But like I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, right? And this was like my pinnacle of cool at that point. This is something you don't know about me, but you now do.
That's hilarious. That's interesting that they were just kind of selling that kind of like almost like a merch type of thing, huh?
Totally merch, but it wasn't authorized. I don't believe Michael Jackson got a cent from that. But additional fun fact, in 1984 or 85, my dad got tickets to the Jacksons Victory Tour. That's when all of the Jackson brothers reunited and went on tour with their super famous star brother, Michael. Basically, I would love to look up the set list because I have no idea what it was, but we went in Chicago and got to see the Jacksons and Michael Jackson perform at Kaminsky Park, which is where the Sox used to play, but it's been torn down and they have a new stadium now. But yeah,
that's cool.
But it's funny, like stuff like that makes me feel ancient. It's like, again, though, I was like 10, 11 years old. It was the greatest thing ever. That like blew my mind. Like, holy crap, I got to go see Michael Jackson, right?
So would you say you're a Michael Jackson stan?
In 1984, 85, everybody was. The entire world was. So you say stan.
That's right? A good segue, right?
Yes. My wife and I had the pleasure of explaining to our kids who were referencing stan where that came from.
Oh, man. Well, okay. Well, what did you tell them first of all? I am curious. Not just to kind of double check to make sure what I'm thinking is correct or not. Because I want to make sure we're on the same page.
So there was this guy named Stan, right? And he really loved this band. And it's Eminem.
Okay, it's Eminem. Okay, because I was like, a band.
You're good. Winston's giving me the side eye going, you don't know what you're talking about. No, so it was very weird to hear them talk about it and realize that they had no idea the connection to the Eminem song, Eminem song Stan, about the fan who goes crazy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because in the song the fan is unhinged and it's not a healthy thing. But now standing someone is totally it's pretty funny how that has been that's become a slang word. And I mean that's been the most interesting thing that talking to you. I've definitely before now that we talk, I don't have to go to Urban Dictionary and be like,
what is a stan?
Yeah, tap tap tap. What does Superman that ho mean? I'm not sure. So yeah, and all of the things of the slang. I mean, every generation has slang, but there's some that I'm just like, I don't get. What the one we talked about the other day when you reference sneaky links.
Oh yes,
I'm like,
links. Yeah.
What is sneaky links? What does that mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't get, luckily though, instead of, there is definitely a little bit of sadness as a Gen Xer of like, let me Google this and see what the hell this means and see what these kids are talking about. But yeah, sneaky links.
Well, we can't breathe past it. Somebody's got to give an explanation.
So what, sneaky links?
So wait.
We can't continue to say it and then not explain it.
Tony's going, tell me what it means.
So
you don't know either, Tony, right?
I'm going to play dumb.
Okay.
And say no. So somebody tell me what it means.
Okay, so I'll say what it means. So sneaky link is essentially just hooking up with somebody without somebody else knowing about it, like, or letting other people know that you're exclusively hooking up with this person.
A booty call on the DL.
Call. Yeah.
Although you can't use DL anymore.
Yeah, because DL stand for something else. Yeah.
Like I found that out because like my generation. Granted, it wasn't always used, but it'd be like keep that on the DL.
Yeah, we don't say DL, we just say low key instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm hooking up with this person, but it's like it's low key, you know. But yeah. So sneaky link is like, oh, this, you know, it's a booty call, it's late at night, but you're like, hey, come on through to everything. That's a sneaky link.
Come on through. Does anybody still use booty call?
Yeah, old people does.
I
don't think our generation say it. It just feels vulgar. I don't know. Like it's like, ugh, booty call. What's this about?
So crass. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what a sneaky link is.
Sneaky link is an updated booty call, I guess. Booty call on the DL is what it's, they've economized it and made it shorter, so that you're like using two words and condensing it into one phrase that connotes the same thing.
Yeah,
I came across something that I had not heard of before. I understand what it means now, but I've got to bring it up. I heard somebody use the phrase "password kids."
What? Password kids?
Password kids?
Okay, so this is maybe I'm way off track here. I was watching a video on TikTok, and this girl seemed younger than I am, used the phrase "password kids," and I'm like, I don't have a clue what's going on. Thankfully, she proceeded to explain herself. Apparently, password kids are typically first kids, like firstborns or favorite kids.
Oh, that's
that
funny.
Parents then use as family passwords for things.
Okay. Okay. That I totally got that different.
Here's the thing: it's not password kid; it's password child. That's why I was like, "Oh, what's that? What's a password kid?" Right? Yeah, so password child. No, okay, that's understandable.
Oh, so your first child is the password because they're used as passwords for. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I immediately thought latchkey kids, which is like was a big thing you heard about when I was growing up. Latchkey kids were like suddenly. So
Winston's so confused.
Oh, what is that?
Hold on, wait. We got to play this game sometimes. This is one of my favorite games. We're going back to.
Oh yeah,
Winston doesn't know.
What do you think?
Winston explains it first.
All right,
Latchkey kids. Okay,
the
year is 1982.
Okay, latchkey. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
This is not a spelling.
Hey, I'm not like those other kids. I'm a latchkey kid.
Well, latchkey kids were more prominent, I would say.
So, okay, what I'm assuming it mean is a kid is responsible for having the key to, say, the house or like a storage. Is that what that means?
Storage.
Or the latch, whichever latch it is. Is it the key to the basement?
That's where the GIMP is stored. We're gonna reference Tarantino movies every podcast.
Yep. Okay, so explain it to me. I don't know what it is.
So latchkey kids was a big term used in the 80s because suddenly in the 80s a lot of women moms started going to work. And so you had both parents working. And so you would have the kid that would come home from school around 3:00 and their parents weren't home. And so that was the latchkey. I don't know why we use the term latchkey. That's weird in and of itself and sounds more old timey, but basically the kids that suddenly kids had to have a spare key into their own house, right? So, cause they're the ones getting home from school at 3:00 and mom and dad aren't home because they're still working. And so that was how a lot of kids. So Tony, was that term still used when you were growing up, or no? Was that out of fashion? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there were still latchkey kids. At least in elementary, I remember it being used. Like we would get dismissed in waves for buses as they would show up. But the very first dismissal bell for kids was kids who lived close enough to walk home, and I think they used that term over the intercom. So it's like students being latchkey kids and kids getting picked up by their parents.
Shut up! They said latchkey kids over the intercom.
But listen, I could be wrong, but I do remember the phrase being used somewhere.
It could be a PA thing.
It could be. I mean, we're pretty rural. But I don't ever remember it being used as like a derogatory term.
Pejorative, huh?
Yeah, it was just like, hey, you're getting home before anybody else. So
that's super cool though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, John's parents aren't home after school for a couple hours. We can go over there and get into trouble. Because again, that was I believe how a lot of that started, is you did suddenly have parents not being at the home all the time. So I mean, I had pretty decent friends, so I don't think I got into much trouble, but that was definitely a thing as I was growing up. But when you said bus dismissal, another slang term, what the hell does bussin mean?
Bussin?
Yeah, like I hear that all the time, and I'm like, what does that mean? You guys both just kind of look down like, oh geez, he's getting cringy again.
Bussin is like, it's like when something is good, you're like, oh yeah, food is bussin. It's like, it's
how where do you get that from? What is that from? I get it. So Riz, I understand. I've learned to find out that Riz comes from charisma, which I get. Where the hell's bussin come from? What does that mean?
So that's the thing. I don't even know where it came from. it was probably just like my first instant of hearing about it was a TikTok.
I'm pretty sure, so as a skeptical Gen X who, our whole thing was like, damn the man, and like we're being spied on and followed, and there was a great bit of paranoia. And like, leave me the hell alone. Let me do my own thing.
Yeah.
So much stuff comes from TikTok now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
trends, all that stuff, slang words. Like, if I was so inclined, we could come up with a new ridiculous word and see if we could get it to trend on TikTok.
Right. So I did Google it. I looked up what the origin of it is. So bussin is originally an AAVE. It is an AAVE.
What does that even mean?
African American Vernacular English. So slang created by African American.
Right.
And
I could parse that apart.
And so it says here the earliest recorded date that bussin was used was back in 2009, which was meant to
ancient times again.
That means to dance, like, oh, you're busting the move.
Bustin', okay, so they removed the T. Bustin', okay,
yeah, busting the move, right? Like, oh, like this person's busting the move out or whatever.
Is this the point where I bring up Young MC's "Bust a Move"? Does anybody know what that song is?
It's such a good song.
Okay, good. I'm glad somebody knows.
We know. That's my era of rap. I do know all the words to that song.
Okay, so we got Winston's watch and listen list we're compiling here.
And then at some point, out of nowhere, Gen Z kind of gave it a new meaning, and is now used to describe this delicious food. And so
food? So I can't say
I'm not gonna be
busting a move on the dance floor. He's that taco he ate looks
down. Yeah, you can say he's busting it down, or he's busting move, but you wouldn't say busting, because if you say, "Oh, Tony is busting," you're saying, "Oh, Tony is delicious." You know what I mean? And that's not what you want to say.
It's not what I want to say. His wife might, but I don't.
Even then, it doesn't make sense to use bussin' with a person. It's mainly to be used with food. So that's where again, this is where it came from. Like I saw a TikTok, and it was funny. It was this lady. She's like in her late 40s, early 50s. She's at lunch, and she's eating her food. The whole TikTok is just her eating it. And it was a duet, and it was this younger guy. He's kind of like around my age. He was like, "Oh, is the food bussin', Janae? Is it?" Is it bussin? And it was just that because she was crunching really loudly. And I think from there, that's when it kind of like went viral.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I can say that when you and I had lunch last, you did not ask me if my pad thai was indeed bussin, and I could not respond either way because I wouldn't know what that meant. So okay, so Password Child is the new one.
Password Child. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, I guess I haven't really seen anyone talked about it. But it makes sense. Like the Password Child it does make sense.
I understand that. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But going back to, I guess, how we started talking about all of this, about the three of us talking together, was my cluelessness about what my kids, a younger version of Winston and a Gen Z, like some of their slang terms and trying to understand them. The funniest one, which was a hilarious discussion between you and my children separately, was, what is glizzies?
I love it.
I don't know where I saw that or heard that, but clearly I didn't get it in context, because I said, what is glizzies instead of what are glizzies? And then through discussions to come to find out, for those who are curious, wait, it started out as a gun, right?
Yeah, glizzy was a gun.
And then somehow moved to hot dogs?
And then penis, yeah.
You know, the natural movement of,
right. I can see
it's penile shape, right?
Yes. And when I said that to my children, they looked at me like, what the hell are you asking me, Dad? Like, clearly I didn't know, but it had already gone to the penis connotation by the time
you asked them?
Yes. Then I found out about Glizzy Gobbler and all of the
Glizzy Gosselin,
Glizzy Warrior. Yeah.
Did they sit down and go, do we have to have the talk with you, Dad? Is that how this works?
Is
that where this is going?
It was more of like, in what circles are you having these conversations? This could be are you having it online where potentially a lot of people could hear you and it would be super embarrassing? But yeah.
And it's funny, and here we are talking about it online where people could hear about it.
Well, I do find it funny. This day, I opened up, I scan Apple News because, you know, everyone needs a good variety, helping of bad news to start their morning. And so you scan all the headlines about this, that, the other, and one article that I did click on just because of our frequent discussions of slang and stuff was, what does OG mean? And I had to laugh because OG comes from, I felt was the 90s. Gen X is, at least I felt, was thoroughly divined in the 90s. You know, with the grunge movement, you had movies like Singles and Reality Bites. These were like by the time it got to movies, then, you know, you have like the mainstream trying to cash in on what was known as the counterculture. But then you have Lollapalooza coming out at this time in the early 90s. And like, there was definitely the grunge alternative movement was sweeping the nation in the 90s, right? Where the hell am I going with this? What
you're talking about? OG.
Thank you. And then, you know, so then early 90s too, you get, you know, your Cypress Hills, all of your cool 90s, you know, rap. And again, it was called rap at the time. It wasn't hip hop really, I guess, called that. But OG goes back to that. And so I click on this article to find out, and I'm like, this is hilarious. This is an actual article explaining several terms, OG being original gangster. And I was like, oh my gosh. One, I know that. And two, there's like, I don't know if my mom's clicking on this article going, I wonder what OG means. What is OG? I've heard the kids use the term OG. Right. What does that mean? And then Google it, or Urban Dictionary.
And I think that's one of those slang that kind of just stuck around. Like the meaning never changed.
Right.
It's like, even like my kids my age, like we all know OG mean original gangsters.
Right.
Like,
yeah. What else do they think it means? Like the OG. Yeah.
I mean, I could see somebody thinking, oh, it's the original or it's the origin type of thing, but it just doesn't make sense, you know?
Lifehacker, I used to read a lot, and they actually had a story that was Out of Touch Adult's Guide to like culture, and it's like all the latest TikTok trends and all the, and it's like probably somebody like Tony trying to explain to like older people like what the hell's going on with TikTok, you know?
That's pretty good though. It's like a millennials looking at what a Gen Z is doing, and then telling somebody that's older what it is and why it's a thing.
Yeah. I still one of them was Tide Pods. You know, that whole thing with the Tide Pods. I don't believe that anybody actually ingested Tide Pods. Did they? I hope not.
I feel like there were at least a handful of people that did.
Do we need to hit up Snopes to see if like people are like
that's my job. I'll do that.
That's true. So back in the day, people were concerned about people putting razor blades in apples at Halloween, and that was actually all a bunch of BS too. So I tended to look at everything like this, like really, but legit, people were 100% based on what they saw on social media, doing all sorts of stuff. Winston and I talked about planking at one time.
Yeah.
So Facebook I don't even remember when planking happened. I'm throwing Tony all over the place, but planking was when people were on Facebook and they're like, hey, look at me. I'm sitting in a park bench, but instead of sitting in a park bench, I'm laid across it planking in a stiff, rigid position as if I'm a board of plywood. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, people had to get more and more insane with them and then started planking on top of like dangerous things. And like people started falling to their deaths and they're like, okay, that's gone too far.
And I was going to say, that's something you don't see from my generation as much. Like, I feel like we try to avoid dangerous trend.
Wait, I'm gonna call you on that, because when what was that? Kiki, Don't Lose My Number, whatever that Drake song was.
Oh yeah,
Kiki, where people were like, people were like driving along, singing to their phones, and then getting out of their car and supposed to walk alongside of their car and
ghosting.
Like, yeah, but that's not
Ghost the Whip.
Right? Ghost the Whip is always an old thing. Like that wasn't our generation.
That's Tony's No, we are sticking that to you, Tony. Yeah. Answer for that shit.
I will listen. I'll get back to you on Ghost the Whip. People did consume Tide Pods.
Really?
It is absolutely a thing.
That makes me sad. That really makes me sad.
Okay, hold on. All right. It's gonna sound weird, but hear me out. I've held Tide Pods in my hand, and I'm not saying I would do it, but I can see the appeal as to why somebody would put it in their mouth. Now, eating it, I can't condone.
Why would you put detergent in your mouth?
It feels soft. It's like squishy, you know, like you put it in your like.
So does boba tea. Come on, man. If you want to feel, that's balls in your mouth. That's a whole different thing. But like, okay, how many people, Tony? Like 3 morons in Idaho? I mean, like what? Like how many?
Well, they don't have access to TikTok, so I don't think it's people in Idaho.
So
they're still accessing Napster in Idaho.
Yeah. At the time that this article that I'm looking at was published, this was January 2018, which was the time that this was going on. A spokesperson from the American Association of Poison Control Centers told whoever wrote this article that in the first 11 days of 2018, there had been 40 reported exposures of liquid laundry detergent pods to 13 to 19-year-olds.
Hear me out, though. 40 are very low number, okay?
That's still a lot of people that thought, hey, maybe I should put this in my mouth.
That figure represents 20% of the total number of similar incidents in all of 2017. So there wasn't a lot, but there was far too many that it should have, far too many than there should have been.
But see, that's the thing about my generation is we would look at it. We'll be like, oh, that's a trend, but it's only a trend because dumb people make it a trend. It's like the cinnamon challenge back in the day. There was a bunch of people doing it. It's like you could easily die from the cinnamon challenge. But
I did that.
Oh, this is where a video podcast has got to be in it. Do we have video? Chances are you filmed it, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was in college. Me and a bunch of different friends tried it. Yeah, I do have video evidence of that.
So
we did food. I had a series of food challenge videos that we recorded. And we did a bunch of dumb stuff.
Right. So
did you do the ice and salt challenge while you were at it?
No, we didn't do that. The only reason we did any of it was because, again, it was getting big online and it was a viral thing. We're like, yeah, we can jump on that.
Yeah.
But it started because we found a bunch of weird stuff in our fridge in our dorm. So it was just like, my roommate was like, that's like a weird looking hot sauce. Why don't you eat a spoonful of that? And I'm like, I'm dumb enough to do that. I don't know. I don't know any better. So yeah, there is. I think the most popular video that we had was we did a Kool-Aid challenge.
What was that?
The idea was you get a packet of Kool-Aid that has no sugar in it, and you just do it as a shot.
Oh, geez.
So I sent my roommate, I said, go to the store when you get time later today. You're headed to Walmart anyways. Grab a couple packets of Kool-Aid and we'll film this weekend. That'll be our food challenge we're doing.
Did you text him or did you tell him before he left?
He was
I think I told him I think I told him that morning before classes had started. Okay. But doesn't he come back with the worst flavor that you could possibly come back with? Black cherry.
Oh God!
Oh, I would disagree. That's a decent Kool-Aid. It's not one of the best, but it's fine as a Kool-Aid.
It's bottom tier at least. But to just do a very bitter powder that's just gonna stick in your mouth, that was bad.
It's no water. It's just the powder, and you're just taking a shot.
To make Kool-Aid, you get water. You get sugar, a decent amount of sugar, and then the flavor packet. So it's just the flavor packet. It's not sweet at all.
Oh, okay.
It dyes the inside of your mouth because it's Kool-Aid. Yeah. It was not my favorite challenge.
There is evidence. So well, there you go. You bridged the gap of the time of when challenges started. We did, man. If I had a video camera, and again, I was into recording stuff, and VHS tapes exist of me in that era, but we weren't doing challenges. We weren't like trying to figure out like, oh, this is hilarious. So that I'm grateful for that. I'm definitely grateful for that.
I would argue though, your generation probably did challenges in a different way though. Like say like jumping your bike over a ramp. Like
we did, but we didn't have it on film. I have I have some cool still shots of me doing tricks and jumping my bike.
Yeah,
but they're film. This is just a I suppose we could look this up, but just out of my curiosity, did you ever have to deal with developing film?
What do you think?
No.
Yeah, never.
No, okay.
All our stuff is digital. Come on now.
Have you ever printed a picture out? Like I'm sure you take.
I have a Polaroid. I have a Polaroid machine, like a little Polaroid camera that would print out photo, but that's an aesthetic thing.
But you've never once in your life gone to a store and ordered photo prints.
I myself haven't, but I know my family has. Back in like the early 2000s when we would have like those small little digital camera that those Nikons and stuff.
Back before cameras in your phone.
Yeah, so you would take a photo and then like you fill out your roll and then you bring it to somebody you get.
Fill out your roll. Yeah. That's
oh no sorry, that's film. I'm wrong. I will circle back to that film thing later, but no when you fill up your card or whatever, you go and get it all printed at once and then you have a ton of photos. So I didn't do it, but I know my parents did. I know my older sibling did. Film camera is now a big thing again, and I kind of quit the photography game before it got big, but kids my age nowadays enjoy the look of a film camera, so they would actively go and buy film cameras and then buy the film and use it. But the thing is, because I don't think people even develop like film rolls anymore. You're buying used film roll, and then like I think you gotta put it in the fridge and stuff. And
what? You can't buy used film rolls. Film is film, right?
No. I'm saying like old film rolls that people bought and never used. Like, I mean,
right. Gotcha.
No, you can again, disposable cameras have made a big comeback recently. You can still take those to a CVS or Walgreens and get them developed.
Yeah. Here's the thing: Gen Z is lazy. We wouldn't want to do that. Apparently, you can also scan it or take a photo of it and invert the color, and you would get it on your phone without having to ever go and get it actually printed out. Because like it's useless to us if we have to print it out. We want the digital version of it.
Right. So you can share it and send it and post it and whatever. Oh wow.
Yeah. So film camera is definitely making a comeback, but it's only with the hipster of my age.
I'm going to circle back around to things we put on our walls. Whenever I went to college, I had a section of my dorm wall that I had two dozen photos that I taped to the wall, like a photo collage on the wall of like me and friends and stuff. That was a thing.
I feel
people
like
my age at the time did.
Yeah. I feel like that's also a thing now, but it's with those little Polaroid cameras, and it's like the tiny Polaroid.
Those are the ones that print out. Yeah.
Yeah.
what makes you feel ancient is like, I remember using a Polaroid the first time around.
back in my day.
Back in my day,
the original Polaroid.
And shake it like a Polaroid picture. Like,
would you say the OG Polaroid?
It was the OG Polaroid. It was a Polaroid brand Polaroid camera. It was the coolest thing, and you'd like take a picture and you're like, oh, this is fantastic. But yeah.
Did you know they brought it back? Like they made like a modern version of those old Polaroid cameras?
Yes. No, my kids got those for Christmas one year. And
really?
And it was cool, but it also didn't last because you're like, you pin them up on your wall, but then that's where that dies. Since there's no digital version, it stays there.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing of stuff that can live on in perpetuity digitally, good and bad,
Right. But I do like how like that technology has developed so much, because then you obviously you had the actual Polaroid, and then you get the one like the one I use, like the Fuji film one where it's the tiny little square, and then they have like another one where it's a printer that print Polaroids. So you take the photo on your phone and then you print it out like it's a Polaroid. And I always find that really interesting.
You send it Bluetooth, I guess, or whatever to that printer. Yeah, I've seen those. That's crazy.
I think it's odd, but whoever used it, more power to you, I guess. But,
so what I'm seeing this as, Tony, we're a market research group. Okay. What it used to happen in the old days, the kids are doing now. What's the next thing we can recreate with a slightly different twist on it that it will be, there's tons of 90s nostalgia. And I mean, having grown up in that era, I think it's kind of funny. So perfect example, Weezer is going on tour this summer. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So
they're a huge hit with Gen Z. It's insane.
Huge.
It doesn't make any sense. It's funny enough. I listened to a Weezer song the other day, and I was totally gonna take a screenshot of it and send it to you. Like, I just thought it was so funny because I know you didn't like them when it came out. So I was like, oh, yeah, Weezer stand around here.
Yeah, no, and my daughter loves Weezer, and she's going to see them this summer. And it's funny because when Weezer came out, unnecessary background on me, but when Weezer came out, I was in a band in college. We were very grungy. We were serious. Serious grunge rock band, and the Sweater Song came out, which I remember hearing that going, this song is freaking ridiculous. Like, I was so serious at the time of like, I did not appreciate or understand the humor of that song. Right. The song's hilarious and it's a great song. But at the time I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, so the fact that they're still around, still doing it, I mean, and kids love them. I mean, they're a great band. Weezer's fantastic, whether you hate them or love or not, it's like they're still doing it this many years later.
But my thing is I never, and I feel like it's the younger side of Gen Z that are really into Weezer. Like, because I myself, like, I'll listen to one or two Weezer songs, but I wouldn't say like, oh, I stand Weezer or anything. But I'm curious as to how they managed to like make this comeback with this younger generation, because it was almost out of nowhere.
Is it TikTok? I mean, TikTok is so powerful at introducing trends and songs. Perfect example. This is obscure, but this is a perfect example. So Tony, also a Nickel Creek fan, a couple albums ago, was listening to whatever the album. This is years ago now, but I remember listening to their latest album and heard Hayloft, and I thought Hayloft is like I'm like, this is an interesting song. I'm like, this doesn't sound like Nickel Creek, but so Nickel Creek is a sort of bluegrass instrumentation, right? You have a fiddle player, guitar player, and a mandolin player. Those are the three instruments, and all three are vocalists, and they have harmonies, and they're fantastic. So I hear the song, and I'm like, that's kind of a weird song for Nickel Creek to do, but it's amazing. Called Hayloft.
God of Line was the album. Yes.
Yeah, from 2000.
14.
Okay, so I listened to that album, did that album, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool song. This is weird. This doesn't sound like a Nickel Creek song. Look it up. Turns out it's a cover. They do a cover of the song Hayloft by this Canadian band called Mother Mother. So this song was like a hit in Canada with this band in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. I could be getting my dates wrong. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Listen to the original, listen to Nickel Creek's version. I'm like, that's very cool. Years later, walking by and out of my daughter's room, I hear Hayloft, the original version by Mother Mother. And I'm like, how do you know this song? Like, how on earth do you know this song? It's an obscure Canadian band from what is the year?
2008.
2008.
2008.
Okay. So the tens, right? Or no, the aughts, as we say.
Yeah.
I'm like, how on earth do you know this song? Like, this is so freaking random and so obscure. And same thing, TikTok. Yeah. And then suddenly Mother Mother has like this resurgence because this one song, I don't even know what the original video it was attached to, is on TikTok, and like people are like, oh, this is cool as hell, so let me look this up. And then Mother Mother gets this boost. It's amazing to me. It's cool because stuff doesn't die. Like that's what I find amazing. The fact that my kids love Tears for Fears. They know who Tears for Fears is. Tears for Fears was an 80s band and appeared in a lot of the John Hughes movies, but they know they love Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh yeah, that's a good song.
Yeah. But and it's amazing to me how so TikTok, for all its woes and weirdness, and you could go down a whole different path about how TikTok is bad or horrible or whatever, but the fact that here's a song that they may have never known that is now in their sphere of music that is a great song and they love and listen to.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree, because that it has the same effect on me. Like I'll tell you, Duvet by Boa. Do you know that song? So it was like,
who's Boa?
Boa, BOA, is it?
Yeah, like the Constrictor.
Yeah, I think it's an old artist. But this song was from, I think it's a band actually. Yes, this song is from 1998. It's before I was born, and like it has like the grooviest melody, and it's like one of those songs that I actually enjoyed listening to driving with the window down and everything. But I'm like, there would have been no way I would have known the song unless it had popped up on TikTok as a trend. It definitely, like, TikTok play a weird role in society now, where it's like it almost educate people my age and younger on like things that we didn't know about before.
Or are they super marketing to you and they're like way on the marketing game? Like, that's
I wouldn't say it is, because again, this is all fan content, right? It's like YouTube. Somebody created a video and they were aware of the song and they attached the song to it. And then everyone else heard it and was like, wait a minute, what's that song? Or like, there's a meme nowadays, it's like, what is that melody? And so we'll listen to it. We're like, oh my God, the song actually bang. And then that educate us to kind of like look into it ourselves. I enjoy that aspect of TikTok a lot, where I would find a super new song and it's old and I'm like, oh, it's great.
And what is the term? I can't remember what the term is, where like just the hook that they play on TikTok is good, but the whole song is not great. It's just like that little bit that whatever is used in the TikTok is like,
I know what you're talking about, because it's like, it's almost like a sound bite, right? Like where it's just that one part is super popular, everyone knows it, and then nobody knows the rest of the song. And that's a new thing with TikTok, because you would have people go into concert of artists and they would only know one certain part of a song. Like, I think we talked about this before.
I mean, that's kind of like the one hit wonder, right? I mean,
but it's not like, it's, of the artist.
The one chorus wonder.
Yeah, the one chorus wonder. But of the artist, of their music, but everybody gonna know that one line or like that one chorus. So it's like, oh, if you're a true fan, yeah, sure, you show up to the concert or whatnot. But you see this a lot, like all the time with Ice Spice, which is like a new artist,
which sounds like one of the like secret Spice Girls, in my opinion. Like, she was hiding, and then they bust out Ice Spice. Here she comes.
Yeah. And then another one is Steve Lacy. He's really big right now. He made that song Bad Habits.
So I know Steve Lacy. I don't even know how I heard of Vampire Weekend, right? So I totally dig Vampire Weekend. Steve Lacy is the feature on, or he's featured on one of their songs, Sunflowers.
Wow, really?
Which is not the Sunflower by Post Malone. But it's Sunflower, and that's how I know who Steve Lacy is.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. I heard of Vampire Weekend. I just don't know who they are per se. But
Tony, did we put that on the homework
on the
list?
listening list?
Winston's homework list.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good spot to go ahead and wrap up this episode. So
I didn't realize we've been yammering for a while. I definitely
it's an hour.
time has gotten away from us. But listen, if you stuck around this long, thanks for listening. It helps us a lot wherever you're listening to us. If you rate and subscribe so you don't miss episodes that will come out, go ahead and tell a friend. Listeners would be great for us.
You tell a friend, they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. It is a pyramid scheme, but everybody wants to tune in because Winston is so sexy, and you got to find out about that.
You got to hear my sexy, deep voice. I got to do my e-boy voice. Listen to our podcast things.
Yeah. Hey, you want more of that? You want us to talk about something specific? Go ahead and email us. We got an email address, podcastxyz@gmail.com. You can also visit, we still have the one singular social at Instagram, XYZ Podcast. And you can go check out our website at xyzpodcast.podbean.com.
Podbean.
Otherwise, thanks for listening.
Till next time.